So here we are. This is session 1 of 2. This is Unknown Armies. Strange game that has had 3 editions. The first edition has a horrible cover with a person bleeding out on it. Second edition is just kind of weird. And then this is the third beautiful hardcover edition in blue. Unknown Armies is a game of modern magic and conspiracy. It has some world premises that in the first 2 games are really strongly determining what the stories are about. Like they focused on factions and they focused on these ideas about avatars and things like that. This game opens it up a little bit more. This version is more of a sandbox mystic game that still has all of those elements in it. So we're going to be playing from a campaign starter that they released from the Kickstarter that's called Raiders of the Lost Mart. They did 3 or 4 of these. This is a story about a cabal of would-be magic associated people at an all-night warehouse store. And we'll get to why they're at the all-night warehouse store and all of that in just a minute. The world has lots of magic in it. You're going to hear me mention avatars. Probably less tonight because we don't have the person who's playing an avatar. But avatars are people who try to become essentially the most of something. The most excellent version of some conceptual thing. And if they can do that, they can ascend and become part of the invisible clergy and restart the world. And that's a whole thing in this, but we're not gonna dwell on that part of the story here. This is a game. I want to talk about what we're doing is essentially the Unknown Army setting is the premise is they know that there's some weird stuff going on in this warehouse. They all of our player characters have some experience with the unknown. In particular, in this place called the All-Mart. It's isolated. It's huge, massive warehouse store. Imagine if you have ABC warehouses where you're at. It's something like that. In Toronto, they used to have that huge sort of Indo store with tons of shelves and things like that. And there's like a grocery part of it. Imagine like Marts. Kind of their aircraft hangar style. And this place is open all night, 24 hours a day. It is out in the middle of nowhere. It is surrounded by a massive parking lot, big empty parking lot there. So you can imagine what that's like with the just the lights there and maybe a dozen cars at 2 a.m. What has happened in the past at the store is strange things have arrived. The term that the PCs have come up with is exostock. They believe that these are things that have fallen into our reality from another world because they usually have indicators that they're not quite of this place, like they reference cartoon characters that never existed. Or books that were never written, or things that, in a language that you don't quite recognize. And some of this stuff is benign, but some of this stuff has magical powers and is super dangerous. Usually there's not a connection between what the powers are and what it looks like. This exostock is usually buried in amongst other stock. So the example the book gives is there might be a box of 100 hammers, and 99 of them are fine, and they look like standard hammers. And then the last one is twisted slightly and offset, and there's something wrong with it, and that's the one. So our PCs are investigating that, but they're also trying to do their job because they are employed as employees of this All-Mart. So they want to keep down the weirdness, they want to find things out, but they also want to keep their jobs and clean up the aisles. Now, this is a game. This is a modern game. It is a magical game, and it definitely borders onto the horror genre. So this is a game where we might get dark. The earlier versions of this had pornomancy as a major fixture in the game, with all of the awfulness that entailed. Essentially, magic users, people who actually use magic, are obsessive, and they tend to buy into their magic to the exclusion of some real human contact and make big sacrifices to power that magic. So mages are weird, and weird shit happens. So that's just a warning up ahead of time that this is a horror game. You can lean into that. I will try and lean into that. That being said, if I go too far, I don't think I will, but just on the off chance, or if I hit subject matter or material or things that you're uncomfortable with, we will be using the X card. I know I've played it with everyone here, so they're familiar with it. Again, this, or sending me a message on the chat, you can do that. If we hit something like that and you want to move past it, we'll edit past it, no questions asked, except that I might kind of try and get what the shape of that what is it I need to exactly get past. I use the X card for these online games because we have a short amount of time, and it is, to my mind, one of the easiest tools to use. It's not one of the richest ones. There are a lot of other richer, more engaging tools, but this is the one that I think, at least for me, works with the speed that I want to. So, have any of you four played Unknown Armies before in any of the editions? Okay. I have played earlier editions of Unknown Armies, but not with that system. But I am familiar with that setting. We used other things to play it. I have read the rules. The rules they have a lot of mechanics to them, as you saw when you saw the cheat sheet, and if you've looked at the rules. So we're going to take it kind of slow and work through it to make sure we get the sense of the rhythm, because it doesn't function exactly like other games. Stress checks are important. Essentially, if you encounter horrors, you have to deal with them, and that can affect your character and change your skills and all of that kind of thing. But we'll roll through that carefully. And if you are at any point you go, wait, what's going on with this? Stop me, and we'll walk through exactly what's happening.
If it feels kind of Delta Greenish, is that a good comparison?
I think Delta Green's good because, in the sense that for Delta Green, there's always a sense of uncertainty in a modern magical stuff. But Delta Greens, those people are much more effective and government trained and so on. This is amateurs playing with lightning rods.
Right. But like in Delta Green, when you came across a horror or whatever, it would also you'd be in shock, or it can mess you up on your rolls and stuff, right?
Yeah. I think it's a really good observation. One of the things that Unknown Armies has tried to do from the start is take that idea of sanity checks and shock and things like that and break it down. And so we have those 5 areas of those shock checks and stress checks. It tries to make it so it's not just, I make a sanity check and I go mad, a Call of Cthulhu style, but that there are different things, different gauges, and you can be affected by stuff in different ways. It seems to me that was probably the design that they started from. That was the cool idea they had at first, and then they kind of built up a lot of stuff from there, because it's at the heart of the rules throughout these versions. I could be wrong. So what I want to do now is, you guys have your characters. We've got pre-gens from the book. I hope you've had a chance to kind of look at them. What I want to do is go around and have you describe how you're picturing your character, and also ask me questions about, you've looked at a chance to look at the sheet. If you have questions, take a look at that, and I will try and clarify what's going on with your different character sheets. There are 2 versions of the sheet on that thing. I have in my hand the simple one. Okay, this is the consolidated version, and then there's the one that's based on the actual Unknown Army sheet, which is a little less intelligible at first glance. And that's the reason I didn't use Roll20, is because Roll20 uses that model, and it actually becomes super complicated when you see it on screen. We're going to do that. We're going to set those things. We're going to figure those bits out. All of you have some relationships. You've got one that's set, and then you're going to set 2 others and we'll give a value to those, and I'll talk about what that means, as we go along here, and we'll set those relationships after everybody's had a chance to describe how they picture their characters. So, Fraser, you were the first one to send me a reply on the thread and send it only to me and not to the whole group. How about you tell us about your character, Anne Paddington?
So Anne Paddington is a clockwork person because I went for anything remotely cyberpunk or steampunk. So basically, she woke up 15 years ago at this place, and she's been looking for her creator ever since. And at first, she just sort of started hanging around here for a long time. People started getting a little bit suspicious. So now she actually works here and takes long hours when she can. Her memory is literally wax cylinders in her head.
Oh, wow.
And so when it gets hot, then things start getting a little bit fuzzy in her memory, literally. As for what you were talking about with relationships, I guess that would be the Mike Shaw one, right, at the top.
Mm-hmm. You have your guru is Mike Shaw.
Yeah, 35% Mike Shaw.
I feel so sorry for you.
Great.
And guru means kind of that the person who you look to. Let me see how exactly. They've got some phrasing for this I want to be particular about.
Maybe it's because my noble thing is emotional honesty. I love people most when they're human and vulnerable. So maybe if Mike is stupid, he is still honest. That's why I like him.
That makes sense. The guru is the person who explains to you what it's all about. The favorite is the person you like the best. The mentor is the person you look up to with admiration.
Okay.
The responsibility is somebody you kind of want to take care of. And then the protege is someone who looks up to you. So those are the relationships.
Okay. Right now I just have the Mike Shaw one.
Right. And we'll after we get everybody to go through, we'll have you pick a couple of others, and it could be about here. I'll also talk about the NPCs who are on site, and you may want to pick one of them for one of those.
Okay.
I know it's got some description there in the book, in the character sheet, but how do you picture her? How does she look like to you?
She's a 40-year-old Ellen Page. Yeah. So she's kind of short. Dresses younger than she should still, like wearing Vans and like tank tops and jeans still, that kind of thing. Like not 100% hick, maybe like 60% hick, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think, and then in terms of Ellen Page hair, it's the side sweep one.
What time of the year do you suppose it is when we're going to start? Pick me a season.
Just because it would be interesting, I think it would be cool if it was just starting to get warm.
Okay.
And hot. Just so I don't know how failures work, but if my mind can get messed up at some point, that might be interesting.
Okay. So we're just going into summer there in rural, and that's how I say it in Indiana, rural, Ohio. You'll hear me say that. I'm going to try to avoid the R word from now on. All right.
Okay.
Let's then, Kyle, you chose
Dustin.
Dustin, thank you. So tell us about Dustin Druthers.
So Dustin I see as like a I don't think it has an age here, but I'm seeing him as kind of like late 20s, lives in his mom's garage, like above the garage kind of thing, playing Call of Duty. And it says he's kind of like a big guy, broad shoulders, broad smile, big belly, balding prematurely. But yeah, I just see him as kind of a little bit lacking in the responsibility area until he gets to work, and then he's kind of serious about it, and has like kind of like a childlike wonder for like games and that kind of stuff, like fantasy. He lives in his own world kind of thing.
So is Call of Duty his game of choice then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Plays online a lot.
Oh yeah.
Does he get the gamer fuel too, like the Mountain Dew? 12 packs of that. Okay.
Yeah, like he's got even a little backstory about like, I don't know how much we go into that stuff, like how he got turned on to magic, but like he was drinking cola on his lunch break or something, and it was amazing. And then like he saw this fat Slenderman thing like whip out and grab his bottle, drink it, and burp in his face, and then it was gone, kind of thing. And that's when it all started for Dustin.
That's when it all started. How tall?
I don't know, just like an average, like a 5'8", 5'9".
Okay.
Kind of thing.
So
A little bit of a belly from the fuel.
Do you suppose he did well in high school, or was he pretty much a slacker in high school too?
I think it's pretty much like a slacker. Like he's basically still a high school kid, right?
Okay.
That's how I see him.
That makes sense to me.
Like his uniform even when he's at home, like his All-Mart uniform even when he's at home and gaming, like that kind of thing.
What do you suppose the All-Mart uniform looks like?
I was thinking of it like as like a S-Mart kind of thing from
the vest.
Like a vest kind of thing that goes over, and then you got your name tag there, so you can wear whatever shirt underneath, and he just
What color is the vest?
Maybe blue, and then with white and a name tag, and then gold around it.
Okay. Like dark blue or like bright blue?
Like a darker, like a navy,
Okay.
I guess maybe.
All right. So it's a little more sophisticated
like pharmacy
looking.
Colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Pepto-Bismol pink or something like that. Understood.
No.
Gotta. That makes it so it works with all different kind of ensembles.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Dustin cares about that.
Fair enough. And then.
And his favorite is Darby right now, but we'll do that later, right?
Yes, and we'll fill that in. And Stephen, you took Darby then, right?
I took Darby.
Okay, so tell us about Darby.
So Darby is, let's see, a college dropout in her mid-20s or so, anthropology student, and she and a buddy, Stuart, decided that it would be really cool to come to the All-Mart and do an anthropology study on all of the apes coming into place. They found his body a day or two later, and he had symbols carved into his arms, and his wrists had been opened up. And I know he wouldn't do that, but the cops said he did that to himself. And
ape did it to himself?
That he stole a knife, carved symbols into his arms, and then slit his wrists.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. As you do,
As you do.
My mentor is Anne, and there's a specific actress I imagine Darby being, but I can't think of her name. So at some point I'm going to, maybe shout it out or find a picture and drop it in the chat or something like that. So
okay.
Yeah. Kind of almost Asian looking, black hair, nose ring, tattoos, that kind of stuff.
Intense or more laid back? How are you picturing her demeanor?
I would say more, what's the right word? Quicksilver, basically all chill, everything's great until something sets her off. And then she's got a really sharp tongue and she's really intense about stuff until you calm her down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of place does she live in now? If she's living around around town, coming to work here, where do you suppose she lives?
So she had been couch surfing for a while with some of her old college buddies. But now she's just gotten her own apartment. It's a real dive.
Mm-hmm. Little studio kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does she? So the kind of place that has the one room, the little kitchenette. Maybe there's a laundry facility downstairs, but you kind of don't want to use it.
Right. Yep.
All right. Fair enough. Let's finish off with Mr. Shaw.
Mike Shaw is in his early 30s and is a veteran. He's lost one leg, but that doesn't define him particularly, or at least he doesn't think it does. What really does seem to define him, though, is that he seems to get glimpses of the future. And sometimes these glimpses of the future are futures that, or present, well, when they happen, or he thinks they happen, he's the only one that remembers them. So that leads to a certain amount of confusion, which I'm sure can play out interestingly in the game as we move forward with this. He's quiet and efficient and always very polite, so you can expect to hear a lot of sirs from him. And that's about it, I think, that I need to pull out there. His favorite is Darby. Remind me again what the favorite means?
Favorite's a person you dig. They're the person you like the most among the group.
Okay, that works.
Unless it's a negative percentage.
I think that I was also someone else's favorite.
Yeah, Darby is my favorite too at 60%.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
You're just liked, man.
Yeah. Maybe I'm your dealer.
Yeah.
So, Mike, do you suppose that the others in your team know that you're packing heat?
Guess it depends where I hide it, doesn't it?
That's my question.
No, I don't think so. I think I take advantage of my prosthetic.
Okay.
You're like the only American who doesn't show off their firearms?
Not the only American that doesn't, but among a small minority. And what is your prosthetic? It's a leg, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's his right leg.
Okay. And does he talk about that? About how he lost it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's. I mean, he might have that might come up, but it's not something that he's going to flaunt or anything like that. It was just something that happened as part of his life. I mean, it's a little deeper than that for him, of course, but it's part of his everyday thing, and that's, you don't talk about all your personal things with everybody,
right.
Even your coworkers.
Is it a good prosthetic, or is it a classic sort of secondhand?
It won't be secondhand, but I don't think it'll be top of the line.
Okay.
It's not going to be one of those fancy running ones. He's not going to have those.
Fair enough. And your favorite is Darby, you mentioned, right?
Yep.
Okay. So got a couple of those. All right. Let me talk about the setup, the situation, and who the other NPCs are that you might encounter during the course of this. And then I'm going to have you assign your relationships. So you primarily, you are the night crew for the main part of the All-Mart. There's the sort of warehouse section with all the rows and the different aisles and the different goods that get put out. Crazy stuff in different sections. That also means running the cash register and cleaning up and all of that stuff. There is a grocery section that is not overseen by you. That's overseen by another team. And the woman who runs that, her name is Helen Lafferty. And Helen Lafferty is officious and awful and blames you guys for everything. She thinks that any spill is the worst thing that's ever happened. She said, and she's the night grocery crew person. She has an assistant named Eric. And Eric is just as pedantic and officious as she is, but he's a community college student working here. He clearly has ambitions to rise up through the ranks. And then there's a stalker named Mervyn who also works with them. So there are 3 guys on the crew. Mervyn doesn't talk much. things, kind of wanders out back, smokes some weed,
I
wanders
had to
back
think
in.
about that for a second. He's like, he's a stalker? Oh.
Yep. He stalks the shelves. So he stocks the shelves in the grocery area. So those are the sort of the important night shift people there. The other people that are on night shift with you, there is the guy who runs the loading dock, the stock crew, and his name is Reynaldo. And Reynaldo stays in back. He has a crew of pretty efficient, silent people. You think some of them are part of his family stuff, and they don't talk to you guys. Reynaldo will, but the other stock people don't talk. And they unload the trucks and stuff, and they're kind of sitting back there. And Reynaldo doesn't really answer questions directly. When you ask him a question, he tends to talk about, well, who can say if the flowers in the forest can hear what's going on with the birds? That's the kind of answer you would get from him when you ask him something.
Does he have like an accent that places him somewhere, or is he just kind of like weird in that way as well?
He's probably Hispanic, but you're not sure, where he's originally from. He doesn't talk about that. There is a manager who you hardly ever see except at the Christmas party, and then the guy below him named Moses Pike. Moses Pike you don't see normally, but he's the one who gives the orders, tells you to do things, that kind of stuff. Those are the main sort of characters you might interact with, and you can establish one of them as a relationship, one of the police sees as a relationship, or if you want to make up somebody, we can do that. But we want to fill in two of those. And so tell me, Fraser, you've got space for two relationships. What do you want to do with those?
I feel like maybe what was the guy's name? Kyle's character might be a responsibility just because he seems useless.
Okay. And what, Kyle, which character are you again?
Dustin
Okay.
Druthers.
All right.
So, like, mechanically speaking, are these people supposed to add up to 100%? Or
Now, here's what will actually happen here. So each one of these relationships is going to get a number based on one of your abilities. For example, whoever's your favorite, their percentage is equal to your status ability.
Right. My responsibility is knowledge, and I've got a tick mark by the 60, and it's the top thing, right? Yeah, lie is below that. Yeah, so it'd be 60.
Yeah. So responsibility is for favorite.
And, yeah.
Responsibility is that, and it's connected to knowledge. Yeah, you're right. So
Yeah,
basically,
so I put 60. Yeah.
and
Cool.
why is that important? If you are acting essentially to affect that person, you can use that number to act with. So you get to kind of choose if you want to sub that in for that.
Gotcha.
What's your other pick then?
Favorite would be status. I don't know who my favorite would be. Maybe Darby's my favorite.
Everybody loves Darby.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. And so that's connected to your status.
Yeah.
So that's the percentage you start out with.
55. Got to get that 55%. Barely
Okay.
pass.
It's a D-, right?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
fine.
Grading on a
It's all
curve.
fine.
Dustin, what about you? What do you think relationship wise?
I'm really liking the idea of the Ronaldo cryptic guy being my guru,
Okay.
and that plays off of which?
So Guru plays off of Notice.
Notice. It's 45. And I think for responsibility, I'm going to go with Mervyn the Weedhead just because I see myself in him.
Okay.
And that goes off of
That goes off of Knowledge.
knowledge. That's 50. And then, yeah, Darby's already in there for favorite
Yep.
at 60.
That's excellent. Darby, what about yourself?
So right now I have Anne as a mentor at 60.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking that, well, so who would have been working here the longest?
Oh gosh, let's see. Darby's been here just a few months. Anne's been here for years.
Okay. Okay.
And then next would be Mike.
Kind of makes sense if like Anne has been here so long that's one of the reasons why no one questions that she's weird
Right.
as shit.
Yeah.
And everything there maybe and stuff.
So I'm actually thinking that I'm going to take Eric, the assistant, as my protege.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. Which one is that I feel responsible for them? Is that responsibility?
That's responsibility.
Yeah, so I want to take them as responsibility.
Okay. And that's based on knowledge. And what's kind of driving that for you?
Yeah, so basically what that is it's I think that Helen mistreats him. And I think he would be better on our team. I keep talking to him. He should switch jobs and come join our team. And then I think I'm going to take Mike Shaw as the guru.
Okay.
Because he seems to, no matter what happens, he seems to know what's going to happen next and be able to get us in and out of trouble. So I think he seems to know the way of the world, and I want to learn that from him.
That makes sense to me. That seems perfect.
What's Guru tied to?
Guru is tied to Notice.
Notice. Okay, thanks.
And then lastly, Mike, let's come to you.
So our relationships is our perception to them, but it's not necessarily both ways, right? So
That's
Mike
correct.
might
It's you to them.
Okay, so I think Mike thinks of Helen as someone he needs to mentor.
Okay.
Because she's blaming us for everything. She's coming down on us hard. She's pedantic and officious, she said. So, yeah, I think I can teach her a thing or two.
Okay. That's tied to Connect.
Uh-oh. So that gives me 40%.
And the other one?
What else would be fun? Let's see. I already like Darby. She's my favorite.
I could be your protege if I see you as a guru already.
I want to sort of split it up if I can. Let's see. Responsibility. Who would I feel responsible for? I think I feel responsible for Anne.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a fragile clock person.
And that's tied to knowledge.
Okay, so that's 50%.
Yeah. So again, with these relationships, if let's say you wanted to coerce them to like manipulate or push them, you could use this number. If you're interacting with them in some other way, you can sub in this ability, this number, if it's higher than your relevant ability. Like if it gives you an edge, you can use it. Otherwise, you don't. And let's say that, for example, you have that relationship to Helen as a mentor, Christo, and you wanted to say, well, I have access to something over in the grocery area. That'd be the number that you'd roll with. Essentially that, oh, I know them and I'm doing this, so I can get that. So that's the sort of point of those relationship numbers. Let me talk about a couple other mechanical things on here. They're on the cheat sheet, but I want to kind of point to them specifically. You have 3 passions there. Your fear, noble, and rage. And what those can do for you is, let me get the specifics on that. But I thought I wrote it down a second ago. They allow you to, once per session, if you're working with your passion, you can say, my passion affects this, and reroll. Or if your passion affects it, you can always say, I'm going to flip-flop the dice. Because we're rolling percentiles, you can always flip-flop if something works with your passion.
And it's a reroll once per passion?
Yes, so the 3 passions are that if you act in tune with them, you can get a second chance to reroll always. Or once per session, you can flip the dice. I got that backwards. It's the other way around that I had said it. If you do shit based on your obsession, you always get to flip-flop the dice. There's no reroll there, but you can always flip-flop.
You said based on obsession?
Yep, obsession is just below your descriptor there on the thing. I think it should be written up at the top.
Oh, on the other page. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you'll see a number of descriptors about your identities. Your identities are essentially your bundles of skills. It says you'll see a number there. That's the number you roll when you use them. There are some things that identities do that are common, and I'm going to go through this quick here because it's mechanical details. I don't want to dwell on it too long, but I just want to give you a heads up. If something says that it protects a particular range, like protects helplessness or protects isolation, you make a stress check, a shock check on that area, you can substitute that number in instead for your roll. If it says substitutes for, pretty obviously you can swap it in for that ability. Only one of you has provides firearm attacks. You kind of need that to be able to shoot accurately. I believe Mike has that. Some of you have, I think a couple of you have evaluates something that allows you to read another person's gauge to essentially check out and figure out where they're at. And you've got some other stuff like provides initiative and things like that. We'll get to that as we need to deal with it. Any questions? Is there anything on your sheet you're like, I have no idea what the fuck that is? I'm sure there's a lot of that, but is there anything that strikes you, WTF, right now that we want to have an answer to?
The bottom right corner of the scary sheet.
Okay. Pull up the scary sheet here.
Yeah, the 2A vague, 2B protection.
Oh, okay. So let me pull that up just so I can get that specifically for you.
I think that's just like going into depth on our obsession.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's
maybe
what that is that's your identity of being not human. It's a supernatural identity.
Okay.
Okay. And what it does is it provides, you can roll it to get vague information about things.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry, no, I'm sorry. Not that's not vague information. It's vague protection.
Protection.
And actually, it means that your stuff is that it means that you're resilient, and it provides you with a physical protection. So if you get hit by something that's not that's kind of nasty, you can use that to kind of start to resist some of the damage there.
Okay.
Okay, it's a very light kind of armor that you have from your body.
Okay, and then, yeah, the last part is self-explanatory. I can dodge poisons and diseases. Cool.
Yeah, that kind of explains that. Yeah. Any other questions? Look at that. What a crazy sheet. So, All-Mart, huge. You come in probably working till 8 a.m. So you're probably coming in about midnight for your shift here. And as will be common, when you go to the break room, there is a typed up note from Manager Pike telling you what needs to be done. Essentially, the note on there is covered with little post-it notes from the day crew, little passive-aggressive things about stuff you guys didn't get done, that you have to move those post-it notes aside so you can see what Manager Pike has written. Manager Pike tells you that there is going to be an inspection tomorrow. Essentially, senior management is coming through the All-Mart tomorrow, so everything has to be spotless. He'll mention that the pens outside for the shopping carts are nearly empty. You need to go and gather all the shopping carts from all corners of the place, both inside and outside. This is a fairly common thing. Shopping carts just seem to go places in the All-Mart. And sometimes you find them up on shelves. Sometimes you find them jammed into the lavatory. People do those things. And there's a mention that there is a truck that's due at 3 a.m. And so aisle 5 needs to be cleared to make way for that inventory when it comes in. So, Fraser, what do you imagine is the most notable feature about this break room we've got back here, kind of tucked back?
I think every break room has a really crappy coffee maker.
Okay. It's one of those big glass carafes, and it's got that sort of etching of the sort of brown on the inside. Like it's been washed and washed, but the glass is discolored at this point. And it's kind of a thick black ring on the hot plate for it. It's probably a Mr. Coffee, but with like 3 E's on it to knockoff brand. And there's probably a big can of some generic coffee that they've got next there in the scoops, and a huge passive aggressive notes about how if you take the last of the coffee, you're required to make the next pot of coffee. This means you know, little exclamation points.
Mike.
What? Oh, okay. I'm passive aggressive. Okay.
Dustin, do you suppose there's anything in terms of like lockers for you guys, or what kind of? I mean, is there anything to change back here, or is it just a clothes hook? What do you got back here?
I think there's like little like lockers and stuff, but none of them can be actually locked anymore. Like they're all kind of busted up and stuff. So you can put your stuff in there, but you can just assume that everyone will be able to go through it at some point.
So no one leaves their wallet or anything in there. It's just boots
Not
and
if they're
shoes.
smart, no.
Okay. And so you guys can get active there. Darby, do you walk here, or do you take the bus, or do you take a car? And I want to describe this briefly before I have you answer. Imagine that this is outside of town. It's on a road outside of town. There are probably cornfields around surrounding the place, and then this massive parking lot, and then this massive building sort of set in the middle of it. There are road signs, like they're hoping people coming down I-75 will see it and come here, but then other people just come here from town, from Wellspring is the name of the town.
So it's only like a mile or two out of town?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a bike. I ride a bike. Yeah.
Like a nice bike, like a 10-speed, like a Huffy?
It used to be a nice bike. I think it's been pieced together now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about yourself, Mike? How did you get here?
It's a good question. I'm going to say Mike has a motorcycle.
Okay. Like a nice motorcycle or like a crappy motorcycle?
I want to say it's surprisingly nice and
Okay.
very clean.
American
it's not like
made,
an expensive one. It's in really good shape, and he takes care of it.
American made, European made, Japanese made, Mexican made.
Oh, it's got to be a Harley. It's got to be a Harley.
Okay. All right. So do you park that out front? Do you park it out back by the dumpsters? Where do you park?
It'd have to be out front. It's not going to be next to the dumpsters.
When you come in, there's a big main door, and then some of the registers, and then there's also a side entry door, and then there's the back where they have the offices and the loading dock and stuff like that. You guys actually have sometimes these middle school kids. They figure out how to ride their bikes in through the front, rush through at full speed, take a turn, and go out the side way, like grabbing potato chips as they do. And so these BMX bandits come through every once in a while. So what's out front? We've got the big glass windows looking into the place, that sort of neon lighting, the fluorescent that comes down there. Is there anything outside?
I like the idea of like a phone booth. But, whenever you go to dial something, it always just goes to like some other number that you have no idea. Like it's random every time almost.
Yeah, it's old. All the phone booths are gone. Except maybe a gas station might have one, but this one has been here. Is it one that you actually kind of stand in, or is it you close the door, or is it just like a heads over booth?
I was thinking more of just like a little enclosure kind of thing rather than like a full on UK style thing.
Yeah, and so you can imagine this is an ancient phone booth. You can imagine how sticky and smelly the receiver is here. This is a thing you do have to clean from time to time, that sort of gumminess, and this is a place where people go when it rains to smoke. So there's cigarette butts, and the whole place just stinks of that in there. Anything else out there in front?
Yeah, I think there's actually a gas station. They have a place where you can pull up and get gas, and it's 50 or 100 feet away from the main entrance, but you can kind of see the lights flicker out there. And I think there's some dude who seems to work out there all night long, like in his own little booth.
Yeah, it's that sort of no man's land of the parking lot, 100 feet out. It's in the distance. You've never really talked to this guy. There's like 2 pumps, and there's the guy in the thing. There's bags of water softener salt outside, and he's got, even though this is a Midwest area and stuff, he's got sort of the full high end, slide the glass bulletproof thing in there. His voice always comes through the speaker box.
I like the idea of him, like everyone's had like a story about him too. Like the guy who's like We've been out there one time, and he was like, doing something crazy, like throwing propane bottles like down the bowling or something like that, and everyone's got like the weird story about Crazy George or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, he goes over to the Blue Rhino propane exchange and he opens it up and rolls the propane tanks down. That kind of thing. You saw him shaking all the soda cans in the little mini fridge he has back there.
Or he'll be doing like designs like with salt, like doing salt circles around it and stuff like that.
Awesome. So the challenge that you guys have right now is that the boss of your crew is Tori. She is a take charge person. She organizes you. She gets things set. She tells you where to go. She keeps your schedule going. She's the one who holds you guys together and really makes the crew work. She is called in sick. So you're understaffed as well as having to do these tasks.
And you guys probably know it when you walk in and you see Dustin with like one of the little helicopter things, like going down the aisle.
Yeah, do you suppose you have like drones that you can fly around in here?
Yeah, I think I just picture him like a kid at heart, so he'll just like play with them and make sure they work and stuff, and then put them back at the end of the day, that kind of thing.
And these are drones. These are not the safest drones. These are the kind of the recalled ones with the exposed blades and the sharpened
these are like
rotors.
the North Korean ones that are like easy to use and stuff, right?
Yeah, and they have a range of about 30 feet before they go haywire. Because they get out of the broadcast range.
Yeah, you got to run after them.
Very best drone. So you four back there, you kind of have to decide how you want to proceed. Somebody's got to take the front, got to take care of the various tasks and things. How do you want to do this? Tier leader, drone.
Sorry.
So I think Darby comes in and like checks in, punches in like on the clock and all of that, and says, "I think it's time for a smoke break." She kind of goes to the back door and kind of props it open and looks at everybody else. Nobody else? She just kind of...
Isn't there cameras in here? I think I just look up at the camera.
You're pretty certain that the camera is just in a cardboard box with a lens thing stuck to the front of it.
You just see Dustin like run by the door, chasing after a drone.
You know that there are some cameras inside the store, and up at the front sort of register, there are some things, but none of you are up there right now. And you can also actually shut the doors from there.
And I think Mike will say, look at Darby and say, I don't think, are you sure you want to do that? You could get in trouble for that, and you might miss something fun that's going to happen tonight while Dory's not around. Tori, sorry.
Finding Tori.
I think Dory works better now, doesn't it?
Yep.
If you've named me passive aggressive, then I've just named Dory.
It won't take but a second. It'll be more fun if we're, a little bit more relaxed whenever we work.
I think I'll go out there just because I think if it is weed, it would be funny because it probably doesn't do anything to my physiology at all. But
Nope.
it's just me like pretending to be human. Like it's one of those things where I'm just like, yep, I'm a human.
Yeah, you're the most stone ass. I mean, I have never seen you lose control. It is awesome.
I'm very precise. That's what
Yep.
they say about me.
Even with the heaviest dank stuff that you got, unaffected completely.
Yeah, when I'm lifting heavy stuff, I have to make sure that I look like I'm human and make the movements like it's a tough thing.
So then Dustin and Darby are, sorry, not Dustin, but Ann and Darby are kind of having a smoke break, even though their shift has started. Dustin's outside. We hear the drones. What are you going to do, Mike?
Well, Mike had another plan. So as soon as they're out of sight, out of mind, he's going to take these 3 mouse traps that he brought with him, and he's going to go out and replace the most obvious or the most accessible potato chip bags. Take out the potato chips and put the mouse traps in, and arm them and place them so that the kids that drive by and take the potato chips are going to grab those.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you're kind of making assessments, setting some traps for them. You guys have set other traps for these bandits before. What have been the other things you've done to try and catch these kids?
I think since I'm in the beginning, since I am adjusting to being human, I set up like where they would try to take the corner. I set up shopping carts there so they'd crash into it, and people are like, "No, we can't kill the kids. We just have to stop them."
And that makes sense. And you guys probably have from time to time put some obstacles, but these kids, they have a sixth sense. They know when they come through, and they get these bags of Utz's potato chips, and they ride away. They're not very good potato chips, though, so it's not the biggest loss in the world.
I also like the idea of destroying the property to protect them from getting the property. It's pretty
absolutely.
Awesome. I've also got this ability. Once at the beginning of each session, I have to roll, and if I'm successful, I have a piece of exo stock with 1 charge left in it.
Okay. Well, then let's have you roll percentile dice.
Okay. And we're using...
Roll for your party. I will drop the link again in the chat because it's a little ways up. It is frequently deciding moccasin.
There we go. All right.
And your occult wannabe is 20%.
So I roll 2d10?
Yep. I would suggest you make either put them together or make one like a different color so you can do the digits easier. It's up to you how you want to do it.
Okay. I've never used this before.
Oh, you haven't used roll for your party before?
No.
Okay. So if you want to change the color, when you put if you want to do 1d10, you can go over to the color thing and change it there.
Okay, so I just choose 1 d10 and then say whatever color I want, kind of thing, and then hit submit.
Yeah. And then you can actually drag them over to a spot on the board if you want to have your dice over in one area.
And how do I roll it?
So then you're going to select both of them, so they have the highlight on them.
Okay.
And just do that, and then you'll see the big shiny green button up top.
Okay.
Hit
Reroll
that,
selected.
and that will reroll selected.
Okay. I didn't say which was which.
It's a 35 or a 53 regardless. So you
Okay.
do not begin with a piece of exo stock.
Okay. So that's
Okay.
all that was, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Standard procedure for this, for the dice guys, I don't know if you want to do this now, is to prepare percentiles for yourself and then put your name by them someplace on the board so you know where your dice are at. And to put a deck of cards up there as well.
Card, yeah. I'm
Was
an ace.
this your card?
That was by accident.
Nothing happens by accident, Krista.
This is true.
How do I add a text?
Oh, so where it says label, you can type in the text that you want and then hit submit.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to tell you one other very, very important detail about Roll for Your Party. Never hit clear.
Yeah.
Clear will erase
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Take that dice. That's okay.
I think clear used to be even more prominently centrally placed, too. It was even more alluring as a button on the
It happened a lot, yeah. But do we need our own dice? Like
It's up to you guys. Some people like to do that. If you just want to roll dice, I don't care.
I'll probably just use Mike or Kyle's then. I don't feel like making my own.
Oh,
yeah, you wish.
I'll just take it.
Rich feels very strongly about everybody having their own dice. I don't know. So let's, before we get in, we're going to kind of throw ourselves in. I'm going to ask you about some customers here in a minute. Let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break here because we've kind of gotten off on the dice track. Let's come back. I'm going to ask you about the customers. You guys have been in places, the 24-hour places late at night. I assume all of you have. I want you to put all of those memories in your head about all the weird places you've been to way late at night, okay?
I added some more text to the roller there.
And that's how you know two brothers are playing together. All right, we'll take 5. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
And my lower third wasn't working as soon as I logged on, but I was hoping a custom one would pop up, but no.
Yeah, I've had that problem before. I forget when, and I don't know why it went away. It's almost like it seems to be linked to some people's accounts, the issue.
Well, this is the first time it's not worked for me, and it only started last week, and it pops up with like a little thing that says like, this Hangouts isn't compatible with Google Chrome 63 or something.
You should update the browser, maybe.
I have never been able to get the lower third or any kind of pop-up display to work on my accounts across several machines. I don't know why. So what it'll do is it'll come up for like a minute or two, and then I look away and it's gone. And that it's very strange. So
well, there's your problem right there, right?
I looked away.
Focus.
It's Schrodinger's lower third.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the quantum mechanics.
Right. So, late night, summer, Ohio, kind of getting in that probably 80, 85 degrees outside. Humid night. I've got those big standing lights out there, those kind of towers, and just these clouds of gnats around them. When you get close to them, you can hear that buzzing because there's enough humidity in the air. I assume that just because of the nature of this place, there's probably a big power line. If you go out back too far, big power line running back there that has that buzzing from the air. It all feels very industrial and hopeless. But there are people that shop here and shop here at this time of night. Darby, when we come back and you finally start to do some work, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, so I think my first thing is everything's cool now. I'm going to come in. And whenever Anne comes in with me, I'll make sure we unchock the door and the door to the break room closes. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to start gathering up carts.
Okay.
I think I'm just, going to chit chat with Anne.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll help get carts. That sounds like a good plan.
And so tell me, where is the oddest cart? Where's the oddest placement of one of these carts as you're walking around here for about this next 45 minutes?
Actually, I think so. Whenever we're going around and gathering carts, and where we get to the back, like near the hardware section, where they have their own checkout line, someone has balanced one of the carts up on top of the number, and it's like someone would have seen that. How did they do that without anyone, telling them to stop?
Maybe they just wanted to witness an impressive feat.
Yeah, it's pretty precariously balanced up there.
Yeah, and I think we also find a cart that crap, what are those things called? Like one of those loader things where they stock the highest shelves in Costco.
There's probably some sections there back there, the rolling cart things. I assume there's an area where they have the higher shelves on the back part of the warehouse.
Where they would use that thing that goes up, the lift or whatever it's called. Someone has put a cart and put it to the very top of the ceiling. One of the day workers probably.
So you have to get the little button thing and have
it takes forever. Yeah, it takes
down.
like 10 minutes just for it to go down. Yeah.
Cut away, come back. We do like 3 shots of that for comedic effect before you get that down there. I'm assuming that these shopping carts are like secondhand. All of them have the little plastic labels and things like from stores and grocery chains and things that have closed down. So carts from Osco's and other failed places, Airway, just strange things.
Some that ask for coins that don't exist.
Probably they have a certain sound to them when you roll those. Dustin, We know that they're hunting down shopping carts. They found the shopping carts in odd places. Where are you at?
I'm just following the drone along, and then I run into I just hear like a noise, and it boom, and I look up, and the drone is bounced off a shopping cart, and it's actually on like it's acting as the enclosure for a light bulb.
Okay, kind of stuck up there.
I just look up, and like you could kind of see like a kaleidoscope almost because of all the bars and the shapes and everything, and it's like off in a dark corner somewhere. And I just kind of look up at it, and then I grab my drone again and go off.
As you move through the store here, and you're kind of, I don't know what you're doing. You probably see the grocery people. They've cleaned up their area. You can tell because there's a halo of dirt and junk that surrounds it, where they've pushed all that out into your section.
Nice.
And as you're walking, you will find that someone has clearly taken a 2-liter of orange soda from the grocery area and walked over into this area and has spilled it. And there's just this slick of drying, sticky orange soda all over the concrete floor here.
So, like as I run into it, you just kind of see like the drone start to lose speed as I kind of deflate too, and the drone just kind of like putters down to the ground. And I was like, oh, what a waste of soda.
There is that.
Soda.
I assume if the drone lands in the soda, you're gonna have to extricate it like a spider from a web.
Yeah, it'll just land right in there, and then I'll just kind of do like and then I'll go in search of a mop.
Okay. How hard do you suppose it is to find a mop in this place?
I might go to like just a new section and just grab like a new mop.
Okay.
Because I just assume
there,
there's no way I'll ever be able to find anything else.
When you go to turn back, someone has left the orange tracks behind you. And it looks like you're going to have to mop those up on the way back to the puddle.
Japanese child style.
Yeah, so I'll just go to the cleaning section and then just grab all new stuff, like cleaning supplies, make my own bucket with some bleach or whatever, and then just put it back on that shelf and then go and start cleaning up on my way, whistling as I go.
All right, so you grab up these buckets and head out. Let's come to you, Mike. A couple of your crew have headed out. They've vanished into the bowels of the store in search of carts. You saw or probably heard the drone go down, so you're not sure if Dustin's out of commission or what. But there are probably some people up at the front registers kind of, anybody?
Well, and Mike will, of course, go up there, and he'll be very polite and chipper. Sorry for the wait, ma'am, sir. Give me just a minute to open the cash register, and I'll get you through very quickly. It's a beautiful night, isn't it?
They go like that, like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to them, and then they go back to their phone.
Right, and I'll say, and that's a beautiful wife beater you have on. I especially like the artwork you've done with the coffee stain.
Say what now?
Well, the work that you've done on your shirt, it's stunning.
And it's just a shirt. I just wear it with my thing, and I was watching that,
Oh, okay.
And
the cash register's open. How may I help you?
And he puts down 3 rolled sections of different colored garden hose on the thing. I just want these hoses.
Okay. And you wanted 3 different colors? If you got 3 of the same color, you would get a discount.
I didn't find 3 of the same color back there.
Oh, I'm sorry. We must be out. And then Mike will just bring them up.
Well, oh, no. So if you're out and there's a discount, I ought to get the discount then.
I'm sorry. That's only when we have them in stock. If they're out of stock, the discount doesn't apply, and we're not authorized to order those or move discounts from one thing to another. If you'd like, you could come back tomorrow morning and talk with our manager.
I ain't coming back tomorrow morning. I gotta water some plants tonight.
Well, there you go. These would be perfectly fine, and they're quite attractive.
Yeah, I got to water some house plants in my yard.
Of course you do.
Just ring me up,
At
man.
night. Mm-hmm.
He drops cash on the counter.
Okay.
Grabs it up, looks around, and furtively heads out.
Mm-hmm. Because he knows that I'm going to be checking the cash to see if it's counterfeit.
So, in the next sort of 45 minutes to hour that you're here, what's the strangest customer that comes through the door?
The strangest?
They're probably college-age kids coming here to get something cheap, and they're probably people who are getting off, their shifts to grab cheap Hungry Man frozen dinners, that kind of thing.
The strangest, though, what would be the strangest? I think the strangest would be two little girls that come in alone with no parents, and they've got these bright pink dresses on, and they are happy and singing, and they seem to know exactly what they're doing, and they walk off to get whatever it is that they need. And we see them periodically through the night, but nobody ever, we never catch up with them.
Yeah, they go and you assume their parents must be here, and they skip on through. They're holding hands as they do that. They look at you and giggle, and then vanish into the stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. And for you as you're moving around here, what's your take on the customer base? You're kind of non-human. How do you perceive these things?
I think that the reason why I don't have a grasp on what it means to be completely human is because I work here. Every time I try to get a bead on people, everyone's so strange and odd, and it changes up so often. And then whenever I do think that I know how to behave, my memory gets a little soft. Then some more strange folks come in,
So you don't have a great sense of who is off or who is a problem. Those kind of instincts, right?
No, I think she takes everything at face value.
You will see this guy. He looks tired. He's got a t-shirt on and thrown on kind of a flannel shirt over that. He's got shorts, like cargo shorts on. Everything is rumpled. He's got flip-flops. And you can see that at some point he clearly stubbed one of his toes because it's got that sort of black on the nail, like it's gonna come off at some point in the future. And he's kind of stumbling around with this cart. It's one of those little narrow carts, like from like a pharmacy rather than the big ones. And so it makes him kind of look like a giant as he's pushing it. It's kind of half filled, and you see that he's kind of standing in this section. And as you guys have been searching for the cart for a while, you've kind of come back and forth past this several times. And he's just kind of standing in this section, going up and down, and just keeps doing that. He's there every time for about 45 minutes.
I think one time I'll wander by him and say, "Is there something that you're looking for that I can help you find, sir? Maybe barbecues, perhaps?"
No barbecues. And you look up, and you're in the baby section. Okay. There's baby wipes and diapers and toys and things like that. It's all that kind of stuff here. No, I don't need a barbecue. Why would you think I need a barbecue?
Well, you're wearing the ensemble that one wears when they barbecue.
It's just my clothes. It's what was clean.
Well, I can help you find other things as well as a barbecue.
No, I just don't know what. Yeah, I'll figure it out. You see, when you look at him, you can see that his shirt is kind of open, and there's clearly like something has gotten sick on his shirt repeatedly, and he's kind of wiped it clean, so there are all that kind of stains on it.
Maybe we can find you a new shirt.
No, just if I need something, I'll come and ask. Okay.
Okay. If you go down this section 3 more times, you might have canvassed it for 1 hour, though.
What's your point?
But
kind of engage him, and he actually starts to get a little irritated here.
I hope you have a good time at All-Mart.
Kind of swings his cart around at you, and you say that, and just kind of stares at you until you go away.
I think I leave in an odd way. Like I back up, still making eye contact the entire way until I go to the stack, and then I sidestep, and then I go.
All right. Darby, what's your reaction to all that?
Oh, I think I watch it. I think whenever it's all done, I kind of, clap Ann on the back, and I'm like, "That's brilliant. Make fun of the customers. I love you."
Oh, I was just alerting him that he had taken a long time to find what it was he was looking for.
You want me to go fuck with him next?
Is that what you want to do?
I don't know. I'm getting bored. Let's put all these carts up and then find something else to do.
Okay. Are you going to get paranoid soon?
What do you mean? You think?
It's just something I've noticed. We can go look.
So if you guys roll this mishmash of carts, this first set that you've gotten of a 12.5 carts, kind of roll them up. Of course, to you up front, Mike, it sounds like a train is coming as they're rolling along through the aisles, past the tiny ceramics and knockoff precious moments that are over here, kind of rumbling through that, and you can roll those, and then out through the front door over to the pens, and you've got Darby, and you've got a portion of them out here, but there's still a lot more to be tracked down.
I think I linger on the precious moments for a second because I think that they're real.
Sometimes they talk to you. Sometimes.
Great.
So let's come back to Dustin. You will mop this orange soda up.
I feel like as I'm like mopping and stuff, a lady comes up to me and she just like unrolls a whole thing in her wallet, and she's got all these cats in like different uniforms, and she's like, "Listen, I really need a new uniform for this. I gave Betsy the Batman uniform, and now she thinks he's a bat. So I'm gonna where do I find them? I can't find them anymore."
You used to have a whole section of cat uniforms. It used to be just right back here, but I can't find them. So where'd they go?
I think we put them in with the baby clothes because baby-ish, right?
But they're not for babies. They're for cats.
Maybe, or maybe the babies and the cats get mixed up sometimes. They're pretty similar. That's where I'd go.
Yeah. All right. And she'll head off.
Like aisle 37.
And she heads off, and out of the corner of your eye, you see, like 3 aisles down, you see this cat.
It's hanging upside down.
No, it's just walking along through the aisles.
I'm gonna stop what I'm doing, like twist off the mop there, put it to the side, and then I'm gonna grab like a laundry basket and I'm gonna go
Okay.
after it.
All right. So I need you to roll pursuit.
Pursuit. Oh, 20%. Not so hot.
I'm also gonna.
Yeah, I guess you're a lot better at video games.
26, so close. Or do I assume I have to roll under?
You have to roll under.
So close.
Let me pull this. Yeah, you get that laundry basket, and you go moving over.
Try to throw it.
And it. What does it knock over?
Probably a vacuum that starts or something.
Okay, yeah, like one of the display vacuums, like a battery powered, like a Dougson,
Yeah.
a Dougson wind tunnel,
Yeah.
and it goes down, and the cat, and it goes off, and it vanishes into the stacks.
And I'm like, of course, could have used the vacuum from the beginning.
Because that's the way it works with cats, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'll set it back up and then just make a mental note next time.
Mike, you're up front, and this woman kind of starts wandering up towards the register, and she's looking around. She's between 40 and 70, you would guess, in age. It's a hard 40 or a just normal 70. It's hard to tell. Got like 2 or 3 layers of clothing on, lots of crystals, on like a necklace here. Her hair's kind of scraggly, gray and brown there, and she's got kind of sunken eyes. And you see that she's got this cat carrier with her.
And it's not a cat carrier that we sell?
No. I guess she probably came in through the side door. Wanders up. There is a wave of patchouli that washes off of her over you. It's an almost physical wave of it.
He inhaled involuntarily, but he's always polite, so he'll exhale slowly, controlling any coughing or sneezing reflexes he might have. May I help you, ma'am?
Yeah, I can't find my cat. I was out looking for cat food, and I came in, and it was in the carrier, but it got out of the carrier.
I'll pull the microphone to myself and flip it on so that it makes that loud. Yep. And I'll say, attention, we have a code C, Please bring the item to cash register 3.
And how do you think, what is the code C? Do they know what a code C is, or what does that stand for?
That stands for a lost cat.
A
lost child would actually be a K.
Okay.
We have about 430 different codes that we are forced to memorize before we are allowed to work here.
Okay. She puts the carrier on the counter. She says, "Thank you for helping me. Much appreciated."
Not a problem, ma'am.
So you three who are back in the stacks, do you suppose you know what a code C is, or have you forgotten that?
I think I would remember.
Okay.
At least until, summer ramps up. Because my waxy braid.
I'd have no idea. I'd be like, code C. Code Cola. Code Cola.
You already cleaned that up. You're good to go.
That. I'm good, yeah. Maybe I should have some cola.
Maybe the C will run by you.
Yeah.
So what is what Darby and then Anne, if you know the code, what's your next step?
Well, I guess we'll. Oh, maybe this happens so often that in the break room there's like the sample cat food that we use to lure out the cats all the time.
Like an SOP.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that this is kind of unusual. Probably not something you've encountered before. Most people don't bring their animals into the store, especially because it says no pets on the outside.
Oh, I guess it's our pet now then. It's assimilated.
So Darby doesn't remember what a code C is, but I think as soon as Anne talks about it, she's like, to catch a cat, we need cat food. So let's head down to the pet food aisle.
Okay.
Savvy.
So you two will wander down to the pet food aisle. Dustin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna grab some cola and I'm gonna go to the break room and start up the Xbox.
Okay.
I have like this thing I do where I try to play the game outside even when I'm working. So I have like the wireless controller and I know how far it can go, even though I can't see the screen. I can feel the vibrations of when I'm shot and stuff.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of vibration of the shooting there. Okay.
Yeah.
So this woman kind of stands there, staring sort of blank-eyed at you while you're waiting. While she's waiting for the thing.
Look into her soul, Mike.
Yeah, I think Mike will actually just sort of look at her and say, "Do you believe that we each have a destiny?"
Yeah.
I think we're all searching for our destiny. Some of us are just better at it than others.
Oh, you get it. You get it, don't you? Well, obviously, if you're here, you understand how it works, right?
Definitely. I do like your
Sometimes-
crystals.
Yeah, sometimes it gets broken. You know, you got to do things, get it all fixed up.
So what do you do to fix your destiny? And
Get
I think Mike has like flipped on the microphone so that this conversation is being transmitted to everyone that can't hear it except right around us, so she can't hear it.
Okay. I think I'm going to have you make a roll for that, actually, Mike. Why don't you roll?
Controller.
Let's have you roll secrecy.
Secrecy. Let's see. I don't really have a move for that. I get to do something different with secrecy, don't I?
Survivor substitutes for secrecy.
Yeah. So I got to do survivor instead. Because this is a survival instinct. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
I mean, or is that what it needs to be? If it's identity, if I'm trying to survive, then I get to use this.
No,
instead of
with identity, it always substitutes for
okay.
that stat.
Okay, so let's see if I can pull it off.
Okay.
So I'm going to say red is high. Ooh, and I got a 25.
So yes, you are able to get the intercom set. I assume there are probably a couple of different intercom switches things by the cameras and the door locks, and you'll turn that on and broadcast it. It comes in super loud in the break room, like deafeningly loud back there. Whereas you two are walking back to the pet food section, and again, the pet food section, it's a place where there's a lot of food and stuff that's been around for a while, so it has that sort of weird gamey smell, and that moldy bit that's kind of there. Sometimes the bags get moist, and then when you pick them up, the paper sticks to the thing, and then you have to pull it up, and food goes everywhere, and then you have to clean that up. But you will hear Mike speaking to the woman. So we'll come back to this woman, and she's like, "You understand? You get it, don't you?"
Yes, I do. Your crystals are amazing. Do you see anything when you look into them?
I can do a little of it. The crystals are just to protect me from what's coming. Mostly I do cards, or I can do the horoscopes too if you need to, but that's more fakey stuff. You understand, right?
Right. The true believers, the people destined to do it, they don't need any of those props.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, do you see things?
I see many things.
But do you see things?
And I think Mike will find this a little irresistible. And he'll reach out and say, "Give me your hand."
No, I know enough not to do that. I don't know what's going on with that.
I'm sorry. That's the way it works for me.
She'll reach out her hand, but she's in kind of a defensive position too. She has one hand sort of in her like coat pocket, and the other one she holds out to you.
Okay. And so I think he's aware of this and make sure he's got a good piece of the counter between him and her. And he'll just reach out and touch her hand, and it's just trace some of the lines, and it's not anything. He doesn't mean it to be anything sexual or anything like that. That's not what this is for him. And I don't know. Maybe that will trigger it if there's anything to see. The Phantom Destiny syndrome that he has.
Oh, interesting. And intuition's a feeling. Let's have you roll that.
Oh, I have to get less than 20%. What are the odds of that?
About 20%.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting.
That is what is called an +5. So that is a success, sir.
Oh, wow. What do you know?
Oh, this one was bad news.
What was it?
Yeah.
So it's a 0.5 because the 10 should be zeros on those dice first percentiles. Yeah, this one was bad news. She wants to do something that is going to be very bad for the place.
But do I get to see what it is? Do I have an idea?
This is intuitions and feelings, vague information. I think that seems good. I'll let you give me a follow-up question, and I'll see if I can vaguely give you an answer.
A follow-up question?
Yeah, from the player perspective, give me your question.
Oh, I was going to like lead her on and see what her next reaction was. But
okay, well, we can do that, or if you want to try and get something more intuition-wise here.
And I was going to say, you need to be very careful what you do here. It's not going to work the way you think it will.
Oh, no,
that's the way karma works.
You have no idea about karma. I've been through karma. That's how the last world ended. This one, not the same. Can't put a firebomb across me, cricket. I'll be all over that thing from here to dusk to dawn.
So do I get anything more out of this?
That probably see like some imageries of like she's been through something, like something happened to her and it's kind of broken her. But she steps back and moves away from the counter, keeping her hand in the other pocket, and she stops and she kind of bends down, keeping her eyes on you, and she picks up the cat carrier and she goes, "I'm going to look for my cat."
You do that. Happy days for you.
And it walks off. Let's cut back to Anne and Darby. You've heard this weird conversation up front.
Yeah, sounds like this lady could use a Batman costume for her cat.
So I think Darby has found, like, she got the bottom bag of cat food on a stack, the one that kind of gets crushed a little bit and might be torn open, and just kind of opens it up and pours a little pile of cat food, every fourth or fifth aisle.
Okay.
Wow.
And says,
hardcore.
Yeah, and she's like, "We're going to trap it."
Interesting.
Like, how will we trap it? If it's coming to every intersection? Like,
So I think what we're going to actually do is, I like the idea of getting like a laundry basket or something like that.
There's one over by this knocked over vacuum cleaner.
Sweet. We have to put it up anyway, so it doesn't belong in this section. So we're going to
weird trail of orange footprints around here, though.
Do we have radios?
You tell me.
Yeah, we've got radios to basically radio in. And I'm going to tell,
I'll say yes, but they're like the shittiest little CB, like intercom radios.
Radio Shack.
Yeah.
And it's like, clean up on aisle 43, which is where the little orange footprints, and aisle 44 and 45. So I think we'll take that laundry basket and kind of make a little trail and sit there and wait for the cat.
Okay. And the code for the orange footprints, since I'm the only one that knows it, and maybe Mike is I say code TPK.
All right. So you two are getting this cat trap worked out. And Dustin, when the camera comes back to you, where are you at?
I think he was in the break room, but he just assumed that Mike turned it on in there just to show that he knew he was in there. So he just kind of turns off the Xbox right away and runs out and just tries to maybe grabs a cart full of
random
items and stuff to stock, because his favorite thing to do is stock shelves.
Young man.
I just skid to a stop with the basket and look.
And you see that woman is there, and she goes, "Can you help me?" It's the woman you talked to before.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Tell me, Picard or Fourth Doctor? Which one?
I just slowly lower my head. Is that actually a choice? Obviously, Picard.
Oh. All right. Well, it is. And she puts the other one. Is it baby
clothes or is it cat clothes?
It's actually cat costumes.
Oh, okay, nice.
She puts it back there, sets it on the thing, and she, thank you so much. And appreciate you. They were where you said, right next to the baby aisle. There's a man in that baby aisle who's been standing there very, very oddly.
He didn't have his hands in his pants, did he? I hate when that happens.
She does this, and
but not often.
No, okay. She heads off. See her looking at it. Little red costume for the cat. It's got a little bald cap for the cat and everything. And she will head off towards the front to get her purchase for her little darling.
I'm gonna grab a broom or something just so I can poke the guy and not be in direct contact with him.
Okay. Yeah. So you got a broom. You got this a basket of random items, and you kind of walk over and to the baby aisle, and you see this guy. Same guy, shirt, stains on his clothes, the shorts, everything like that, and he's looking around frantically, like he's freaked out.
I'll just I'll stay at one, not actually go into the aisle, but I'll just kind of yell at him, be like, sir, can I help you?
Yeah, where's my cart? Where's my fucking cart? It was just here.
I was like, here, I got a cart for you. I got a cart. Here you go. And I just
no, my cart! I'm not stopping it. And he's wigging out. What do you want to do?
I'll just push my cart towards him. There you go. You got a cart.
All right. Let's see. Why don't you roll connect for me?
Connect. Okay.
To try and maybe chill this guy down.
Yeah. I'll do just the order that they're in there, the yellow one first.
Okay.
Ooh, and I got connect is 50, so I just got it, squeaked it in there.
Okay. So you push that forward to him, he kind of goes to look at it. He's like, and he kind of falls to his knees.
I can help you find something.
Onto the front of the cart, and he's like, "This isn't my car." Oh God!
Does it have something you need?
I'm so
I can find
tired.
you other stuff.
I'm so tired. Oh God!
I'll start to feel bad, so I'll come over and like help him up, and I'm like, why don't we just go ahead and we'll find your card? Have you been in this section the whole time?
Yeah, I was here, and now it isn't here anymore.
I'll just like have him put his hands on the cart for like stability.
Okay.
And then I'll just kind of push the cart along, and we'll go find it. It's got to be around here somewhere, right?
All right. We will cut away from you. Mike, you kind of watch this woman vanish into the stacks, and like a minute or two later, you see this other woman walk out. Not the same woman. She's kind of dressed nicely, and she's got this cat costume. Do I check out here?
Yes, most definitely.
Oh, she walks through the she walks very carefully through the little like ropes that are set up for the line, and comes over, and she goes, "I would like this. Ooh, Mentos." And she'll pick one of those up and put that beside it.
And so Mike will quickly bring it up and give it back to her in a bag. Is there anything else for you, ma'am?
No, I was torn. I thought about buying the other costume too, but that was a little too much, because then, I'd have that, and then I'd have to decide which one to put on him first. So I just went with this one, because your nice young man in the back said that it was the right choice. And so I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to take it home with me right now. And then she you see her start to you clearly see that she's got a wallet. It's kind of coming out. It's fat. You can see all the photographs there, and you know what's coming next.
Oh no. I think I quickly turn off my cash register, say, "I'm sorry, I have to go take my break now. I'll send somebody up front to help you if you need."
No, that's okay. She's just starting to pull out the first photo.
He's walking as quickly as he passively aggressively can away from her.
Okay. Have a nice night. Let's cut back to Anne and Darby trying to catch a cat.
Yeah. With a master plan.
Which of you two has a higher pursuit score?
Pursuit.
I have a 20.
25. Yeah, because it's the opposite of 55, right?
That is a thing. That could be the case.
Yeah, I guess it's 25.
Okay. So I'm going to have you roll for the trap and Darby's assist.
Okay.
I will give you a plus 15. Look how generous that is.
Ooh. Nope.
Okay.
55.
So 15 plus your 25, right?
Yeah, but I rolled a 55.
Okay. So that is what's called a matched failure.
Oh. Is that bad?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
There are 2 levels of failure in this. There are 3 levels of failure in this game. You could just fail, and then things don't go well. You don't catch the cat. There's a hilarious hijinks scene. There's, if you rolled 100, like 2 zeros, that's a critical fumble, and the world hates you.
This is worse than that?
But a matched failure is somewhere in between. Imagine a matched failure as just a kind of a GM soft move. So you two are there, kind of set that trap for that cat, kind of watching. And you will be startled as this cat like leaps out of nowhere past you. And it kind of hits against something because it's like clearly running from something. Like it's frightened. And if you've seen cats across linoleum run when they're terrified and they have no grip.
Yeah.
And it hits and bounces against this standee of cans.
Oh.
And you two will see the cans begin to, like, slow motion start to fall towards you.
I push a cart there.
Okay. So you can roll fitness or dodge.
I have a lot of fitness.
Okay. And then I'm going to check in with Darby and see what Darby is doing.
Okay. So do you want me to roll now or?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully it's not a double thing. 38.
38. So you will get that up, and it kind of, you keep the cans from coming down on you, kind of block that. Darby, what are you doing?
So the cat came tearing out of nowhere.
Tearing out of nowhere, clearly running from something, hit this stack of cans by you like Alpo, and this big standee of them started to come down. Somebody had spent hours setting this up during the day.
I go look to see what the cat was running from.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have you roll dodge.
Okay.
Okay.
Or else the cat also hits you.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I got a 30% dodge, and I got a 57.
57. Okay. And your wound threshold is that. So you turn around because you're like, what happened? You kind of crouch down, and you see this woman in the multiple layers of clothing, and she's got this cat carrier, and she's kind of moving through the stacks with deliberate purpose, like she's hunting for something. And like got this mean look about her. And it's at that point that this stack of cans comes crashing down into the back of your head. And it hits hard. The ones that pass. I mean, imagine like someone throwing an Alpo can from about 3 or 4 feet away.
Yeah.
Smacks across the back of you, and you kind of you see stars.
So you mentioned my my wound threshold. How does that work?
Well, I know how many hit points you have, and I know how much damage you took, and I keep track of that.
And I don't.
That's correct.
Okay.
You have no idea how hurt you are.
I like how the answer kind of made Steve satisfied. He was like, "I don't. At least I don't have to keep track of it."
Yeah, I mean
Fair
that's a bonus.
So you've got this cart sort of blocking that, getting that set. So what do you do then, Darby? Seeing stars, cat's gone, code C still in effect.
I think at first I'm like flat on the linoleum, and I think I put my head down. I'm like, oh, it's so cold. That feels so much better. I kind of roll back so it's up resting on that big lump that's forming on the back of my skull.
Okay.
And I watch as Anne, is expertly putting everything into the cart. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. And I think I kind of sit up for a little bit. And I say, Anne, did you see that lady back there? The cat was like, I think she might have let the cat loose in here.
I saved the cans. Well,
Not
at least most
all of them.
Yeah, I said most of them.
There's one that's got a big Darby-shaped dent in the back of it.
Yeah, these are thin aluminum cans, so they probably were dented by the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not see a woman.
I think I put I think we have like pockets in our vests. I'm going to put a couple of the dented cans in that because I don't want to leave any evidence behind. I'd make sure I'm not bleeding or anything.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
And the woman's gone. The cat's gone. Don't see them. They've vanished somewhere else in the stacks here.
Is the cat food still there though?
Yes.
Oh.
It's actually kind
I
of a
guess the plan
hazard now
is-
because it's that little tiny roly cat food, and if you step on it, it'll be like marbles.
Oh, great. I guess your clever plan did not work this time.
So Darby walks over to the display that had the vacuum cleaner, and turns it on, and sucks up all of the cat food real quick, complaining about her head. Oh, it's too loud.
Yeah, the Dyson vacuum cleaner, all the cat food goes up into that hopper and then probably jams it up after a few minutes, but you can get most of it off the floor there.
And
It's
it
just
like
a
rattles
display model.
around.
Let me cut to Dustin. What do you want to do with this guy? What's your intent here? What would you like to have happen?
I'm going to say to him, just think of where you left your card. Think of what you want, and then I'm going to guide you to it. Because what his thing is, he's able to just kind of intuitively find things in the stacks.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So yeah, often the things that he's looking for will just kind of turn up, like room of requirement style. So I'm just going to say to the guy,
Okay.
this is what I usually do. If I'm looking for something, I just focus on it really hard, and we'll get you there, okay? So just focus really
Help
hard.
me. It's just so tired. She keeps crying. She keeps crying. All right, let's have you roll that nose for magic.
All right, so that's 40. 38. No, 36.
36.
Yeah, smell something.
So you will move back.
Oh, success. Smells out target with so clarity for about 60 seconds.
You will kind of follow along through the paths, and you will see up on top of the third set of one of these high shelves, you'll see this cart that's up there way high with all of this baby stuff in it.
Does he see it, or does he point it out to me, or?
No, you see it. You're like, that's got to be his cart.
I'm like, oh no, yeah, that makes sense. Is that your cart? That happens sometimes. Aisle 3, it's just kind of weird like that.
Wait, what?
Is that one yours, right there?
And he looks at it, and he can see him look at it. And for a moment, the cart is clearly all of his failures up there on the top of the mountain. And he kind of crumples in on himself there. See him kind of. There's probably like a plastic chair nearby, and he just kind of drops into it.
I'm just gonna pour him some orange soda. This always makes me feel better.
He kind of drinks it robotically. It just kind of how do you do it? How do you get it down?
Well, do you even want it? Should I just leave it up there?
I need to get the stuff I came for.
Need that stuff, huh? Well, I can go get that stuff. Why don't you? I'll get the thing, and you can just stay there, and I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, you just take it easy, okay? I'll run off and try and go to that thing. I really don't even know what it's called.
It's probably a lift.
A lift. Okay.
Call it. Yeah. Let's cut back to you, Mike. Once that woman's gone, what do you do?
Are there any other customers up front?
Kind of come back. You see that there's a car pulling up, like a Ford F-150 battered truck pulling up, parking in the handicap space. And you'll see some people getting out.
Do they have a handicap sticker?
No.
And our handicap spot is clearly marked.
Clearly, that's a matter of interpretation.
But it's marked that there's a fine for it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Before they get into the store, I'm going to call it in.
Okay. So, yeah, you guys used to have like a store detective, but he got fired. And so you are literally told if there are any problems to call the cops. The cops hate it. But you will call it in. The dispatcher will say, "What is your emergency?"
It's not an emergency yet. But you see, we've got some hooligans that have come into the All-Mart, and they've parked in the handicap zone.
It's the All-Mart.
We have some handicapped people.
Hang on. Let me see who's on duty. I'll call Officer Holland. He'll bring a car by when he has a chance. All right.
You probably want to make this fast. I think they're probably going to get into some trouble.
And she hangs up. You see this guy come walking in. Scars, tattoos, buzz cut. Kind of got a big wide sort of pants on. He's got kind of a weird look to him, and he's got this girlfriend that's with him. You guess girlfriend. Maybe looks a couple of years younger than he is. She's like wearing his leather jacket. She's got like a little mini skirt on and kind of heels, and she's got some marks on her. And they have that whiff of meth. Not an actual smell, but when you see people who are using, they have that look. But you see the woman is clutching this thing in her hand, and it looks like a little animatronic doll with a battery thing on the bottom, and she's like clutching it like it's the most important thing in the world. And this guy looks around and sees you and starts walking over with his girlfriend towards where you're at.
And he plasters on a big smile to hide his anger and his rage at what they just did. And he says, welcome to All-Mart. I think you'll find that the condoms are in aisle 9 next to the pharmacy.
Motherfucker, we don't want no condoms.
Oh, then you probably want children's clothes.
One of these. And the woman kind of holds up this. It's like a little animatronic Cossack on a little stand. And he says, it don't work no more. We got one at one of the other All-Marts. We want another one of these.
Do you have your receipt?
No, I just want another one.
Well, they cost $5.99, I think, and they're on aisle 12.
All right. You've never seen this before in your life.
Of course not.
Okay. And
it's not from here.
Yeah. You see him and her head off towards aisle 12. You hear the screeching of a cat. You hear the vacuum in the distance. You hear the sound of the lift going up. Maybe some other stuff. And notice the guy's packing heat.
The guy that just walked by?
Yep. And that's what we'll take up next week.
He really wants that doll.
That's what we're going to take up next week with the situation as it stands there. I hope that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great.
So we're still missing the lady that lost the cat, right?
Missing a lot of things.
Well, you don't know where she's at. They saw her chasing the cat, but you don't know where she's at in the stacks. So we have the hopeless father, the crazy cat lady, and this lovely couple are at least some of the customers who are currently in the store. And to put it mildly, you have a bad feeling about this.
Yep.
So that's what I want to stop. I hope that's cool with you guys. It seems like a high point to stop on. We got a little bit of a cliffhanger. This is an odd setup. This is an odd scenario. I appreciate you guys taking the time to make your characters come alive. So I want to thank you for that. We'll do Roses and Thorns after the second session because it's just 2 of these. Does anybody have any mechanical questions or anything you want to throw at me while we're sitting here?
Yeah, I had a question that came up. So
Sure.
you said that your relationships could substitute in some cases.
Yeah.
So basically, if you are directly interacting with a person, you would roll versus your mentor or something like that.
Yeah, you could. If it was higher than the other ability, like let's say you're trying to lie to them and your relationship is higher, you could use that.
Now, was there also, did I hear something about if you are with them in a scene doing something, not necessarily directed at them, but with them?
It's more if you're doing. I mean, actually, I guess I have to look at that. But yeah, it might be able to. That might be a way to do teamwork. Is
Okay.
to substitute in relationship for the skill when you're doing that. That's a good observation. Good catch.
Okay. I'm not sure. I thought I heard you say something about
Yeah,
that.
I think that makes sense. I don't remember that exactly, but that does make sense to me on it. Any other system questions? I'll definitely try and hit some of the shock and stress gauges next time so we can see that mechanic in operation, since that's the other killer app for the game. But otherwise, I just like wheedling around with character scenes, so I hope you guys don't mind.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't have any system
Yeah,
questions yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm good. That was fun. Lots of good parts.
And anything from you, Christo?
Well, I got to think a week about how I'm going to destroy that guy's car in the handicap spot, right?
Absolutely, you got a full week to do that. You notice that that response time for the cops is probably about half an hour.
Plenty of time.
Okay.
My goal is to keep him in this place for a half hour.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast then.